Today I'm going to be showing you how to draw a realistic portrait. Before this tutorial starts, I am going to point out that there are some prerequisites that are necessary in order for this video to be followed as smoothly as possible. Those prerequisites are a basic understanding of value in a painting, number 2, facial structure fundamentals. And that's it. Although those are only 2 fundamentals or prerequisites that you should know before attempting at following this tutorial, you wouldn't believe how important they actually are. I was going to include color theory in the prerequisite list, but I am going to be talking about colors anyway and how they apply to a face. So I thought, I guess you don't have to know that much about color, but you know, some understanding could help. Any understanding actually. But yeah, today I'm going to be drawing PotasticP, also known as Jeannie from the MXR Plays channel. The reason I'm going to be using her instead of anybody else is because I drew her in my last video, and also her boyfriend, which I turned into a woman. Don't ask. If you want to find out how it turned out, I guess you can watch. It'll be in the description, I think, or a card somewhere. So there, I think that's where the cards are. I think I nailed it, yeah. It's over there, it's over there. Each thing that I talk about in this tutorial, I will leave a timestamp to in the description in order for you to go back to it with easy access later. I guess if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you know, it's not like I don't need watch time. Please watch the whole video. But yeah, with that out of the way, I think we are going to just jump right into it. All right, this is the simple sketch that I made for today. It's can you see that? It is just a picture that I stole off her Instagram. I'm going to be using that photo as a reference throughout this video, so let's get started. Step 1 of creating a portrait, breaking down our drawing into simple shapes. Those shapes being the hair, the face, and the clothes. The skin color that I chose for Jeannie's face is not perfect. All I did was choose a desaturated orange in the middle of the color picker. The reason why I didn't aim for a perfect skin color or midtone is because there is literally no point. We are going to keep adding stuff to this and rendering it. The skin color is going to change anyway. So trying to be perfect in the beginning with your colors is pretty much a waste of time. The technique that we're going to be using to shade the face is going to be very monochromatic. And you'll see what I mean once we start with step 2, which is adding our light. Using a monochromatic method means we are going to stick with the same hue that gave us our midtone in order to complete the rest of our shading. The color that I chose for the light is very simple. All I did was color pick the midtone and drag it up into the left in the color picker. If you have been shading your drawings by just dragging this color up, you are a psychopath and you need some Jesus. If for whatever reason you decided that moving your color just straight up like this, your color is going to look very dull and very muddy the more you work on your drawing. And we don't want that. We actually want this to start looking like real skin the more we move along in the drawing. With that being said, let's move on to step 3, which is our shadows. So let's color pick the midtone. Drag this color at an angle towards the bottom right. And that is going to give us a nice looking shadow color that actually looks like shadow. Because again, if I take this and drag it down, it's going to look like some trash just smeared the face. Pretty much for our shading phase, all we're doing is using this angle in the color picker. Our shadows have now been applied. Step 4 of our drawing is going to be our darker shadows. I'm sure you guys are catching on how this monochromatic technique works. So let's throw in step 5, which is face highlights. 2 in 1, baby, let's go. Alright, we are now done with our monochromatic technique. This is pretty much the base of your painting where you are going to be overlaying color. So to recap, we broke our drawing down into simple shapes. We added our light, we added our shadows, we added our darker shadows, and then we added our face highlights. Now the time has come to start working with other colors. For step 6, we are just going to finish off the eyes. Right here, right now. The reason that I like finishing off the eyes early is because it gives me something pretty to look at instead of just this mesh of light and shadow. So pretty much, make things pretty early so you can feel better. Alright, so now I have something pretty to look at while I'm rendering this out. So, in step 7, now we are going to bring life into our portrait. This step involves adding the blush and the redder areas to the face. I personally like to do this by taking a round brush, making it a little big, and setting the mode to multiply. Then I just grab a nicely saturated red color and I start brushing in the red areas of the face. As you can see, now it looks like they actually have blood running through their body. Now we move on to step 8. Step 8 is where things are going to start getting a little more realistic with ambient light. Ambient light includes skylight and rim light. This is kind of a bad example in Ginny's photo because she doesn't really have skylight, she's not outside, she's in her house. So for the sake of example, I'm going to change the color of my background to something a little more blue. Now by changing this, I can show you guys what I mean by skylight. The easiest way to get started and making this more realistic with the background is by hitting Control B. This is our color balance. So if I just move this a little more towards the cyans, it starts working a little bit more with the background and it actually looks like she could be in this environment. You can also be very experimental with this. See, I can also move this a little more towards the blues. I think right here should be good. This is a pretty simple way of applying sky color to your painting, but an even better way to make this look more realistic is actually going in manually and adding blue color to the shadows. As you can see, I added a bit of blue to the shadows in her neck. There's probably going to be more blue shadows, but for now, I think this is fine. Now, we move on to the rim light. You can actually clearly see the rim light in Jeannie's face in the reference, so I'm going to add that accordingly. So, I think this is a great point to start rendering this out a little more, work on the hair and the clothes, and start painting over for a little while. After I'm done rendering for a little bit, I will see you guys in the last step. Let's go!
Don't fall, don't forget all the things you've been taught, you've been told. Don't blink, don't run, don't turn left or turn right or look straight at the sun. My mind's going in circles, I'm trying to fight it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Gone to the place where all this began. Just start again.
Alright, I realized towards the end of the rendering step, I signed this prematurely. It still looks really nice. I liked the idea of putting the panda ears on her, but I signed it prematurely. I think I confused myself into thinking this was finished, but anyway, our final step in creating a realistic portrait, and is honestly one of my favorite steps, it is ambient occlusion. The best example is the side of the neck. If you look at the reference, there is ambient occlusion that needs to be applied because there is a connection between the hair and the side of her face, and there should be a lot more darkness there. So let's do it. And there we go. And by the way, I could sit here and render this for way more hours. I'm pretty sure you guys get the idea that the more you render, the more you use your reference and find more details, the more realistic your drawing will be. That is going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope you guys found this video useful. And before I send you guys off, in a future video, I'm going to be drawing one of your drawings. So if you want to see one of your drawings be redrawn, head over to my Discord, link is in the description, and submit your drawing in the text channel. art redraw. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for 6,000 subscribers, and I will see you guys next time.